Muki, you're an independent producer with a rich career in media and entertainment. You've done TV, music, interactive, and immersive stuff, including VR experiences. Was this project the first time you looked at VR as a tool for media production, animation production?
Not necessarily for media production per se, because I've worked in VR across the board for like the more linear and type of cinematic type of 360 and spatial productions. But it is the first time that I've had the really amazing opportunity to work with you guys in the animation industry and really understand how the tools of XR can be used to be reformatting some of the IP that you guys have been working on and reversioning some, not necessarily reversioning, but the tools, using the tools of XR within the animation sector. And it's been a really great learning curve for me as well. So
yeah, I guess repurposing some of the assets, right? So
yeah,
creating in VR and then using it for different formats. You exec produced the IBC Accelerator program this year and were an early supporter of this project, and urged me to pitch it when I told you about the idea of exploring XR spatial designs with other companies. So what did you see in it back then, back in February 2020, when we met and I told you about this idea? You were on it straight away. So
yeah, it was great because we had met at the Unity XR Day the week before that was hosted in London, one of the last of the lockdown sessions, which shifted into the February IBC Kickstart Day, and again one of the last of the lockdown sessions.
Pre-lockdown,
yeah, last of the pre-lockdown sessions. And when you were telling me about this concept of utilizing XR production for across the board in spatial design, and I was like, this is something that needs to be more known about. This is something that people need to know about. People need to be starting to experience. And when you told me that on the day, I was like, you have to get up on the stage and explain this as an IBC challenge. And I'm so happy you did. I was so glad you did, because again, just the challenge that the industry does face with utilizing creating some future-proofing some of their assets and the IP and things that you could be doing within the cross-platform spatial design. And your project really demonstrated that very, very well. And we brought together a dream team.
Yeah, we certainly did. Yeah. And, we assembled an amazing group from the gaming world, the game engine makers, through to broadcasters and IP holders and content makers, and the software vendors as well, the pioneering startups that are creating these XR tools. So with this group of collaborators, there were a number of POCs that emerged, and each one leveraged spatial design techniques to disrupt animation production in different ways that spoke to their business. Why do you think disruption is such an important element here? Because that seems to be a thread through all of their work.
Yeah, I think the word disruption is an interesting adjective to use. I think it's when it's pertaining to kind of more of those traditional types of media production that perhaps is still embedded with major broadcasters. Anything new or that could cause people to think differently or outside the box or keep people on their toes and push the boundaries of getting away from traditional production or complementing in a way can be known as disruptive. But I also like the word disruptive as something really gritty and forceful that makes people think about change. And we have talked in this POC about how the trajectory of is going up and incorporating XR into different types of production. And that's where disruption becomes complementary into how productions can be done, and just thinking about those procedures and it becoming a regular thing. Once upon a time we're making linear types of content, and then we had to adapt to smaller screens on a mobile, and thinking about different screen sizes, different speed sizes. Now we're going to be incorporating those faster speeds of 5G into things, and how can this impact our production as well. So I do like the word disruptive, but I think it's like it's a word that, in my experience, when you say that word, it will make people that might not be thinking outside the box or within those traditional spaces sit up in deer in headlights moment. And it feels like it's us doing this to strangle people to go, You've got to be thinking about different types of production. You've got to be thinking about your audience. You have to think about the devices.
Yeah.
So like, who are you making things for? How are you making it? What devices are they going on? How will people know about it? And I really believe the proof of concept that you developed here, Rafi, can help, set some standards perhaps, and get people sitting up and thinking on how to turn disruption into an everyday complementary type of production workflow.
You're absolutely right. It needn't be scary, right?
Yeah, and the word disruption could also be the same as collaboration. So again, this what the IBC accelerators brought and what this team brought, very cross-disciplinary ways of thinking. It's one format in animation, but there were cross disciplines and the tools in AR and VR, to our senior level stakeholders like at Cartoon Network and Sky, and to our game engine, the beautiful union of the first ever media first of to the major heavy hitting game engines working collaboratively.
Yes, Unity and Unreal coming together for this,
So
in support of this project.
Disruption equals collaboration, or we just replace the word disruption with the word collaboration.
I like that.
Let's do that.